According to a new report from Politico, Republican leadership, basically Kevin McCarthy in the House of Representatives and all those people around him, are worried that even if they take back the House of Representatives in this year's midterms, that let's call it the lunatic wing of the Republican Party, and we all know who those people are, they're afraid that they're going to, quote, burn down the House. Here's what they're talking about. This past year, we have seen a lot of Republicans, mostly what I guess are considered more moderate Republicans, announce that they're not running for reelection. And that concerns, of course, the Republican leadership in the House. Because when you take away the moderates, and you still have the same number of lunatics, possibly even more lunatics, the lunatics suddenly get a much louder voice than they already have. And right now they already have the loudest voice, even though they're not a majority. But the other part of it is that losing the moderates means you're losing the people, according to this report, who are the, quote, deal makers, right? The ones who are actually sometimes interested in governing. You know, they're not just out there pushing crazy culture war nonsense. They're not out there to just make headlines for themselves. They actually want to kind of get things done so that the voters look at them and say, oh, wow, okay, they weren't just sitting there like lazy lumps whining about things that nobody cares about. And without those people, Kevin McCarthy is afraid, of course, that the Republican nut jobs are going to burn down the House. Let me read this to you. This is again from Politico here. The Republican leadership team will be dealing with a conference that's clearly gotten more populist and, well, Trumpian over the 4 years since the party last controlled the House. That is, according to Representative Don Bacon, a Republican from Nebraska, who's considered a moderate. We can't have this mindset of burn the House down, he explained. We got to be a governing party when we're in the majority, so we need people like Fred Upton and folks like that, so other people have to step up. But you're not going to have people stepping up. What you're going to have is lunatics like Marjorie Taylor Greene getting her committee assignment back, Paul Gosar as well, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz could be elevated to the chair of the Judiciary Committee. That's a horrifying thought. But all of these nut jobs are going to be in bigger positions of power next year. And what do they want to do? Well, most of them have made it clear. Matt Gaetz wants to hold hearings about the January 6th committee, wants to hold hearings about Hunter Biden. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, and I think Madison Cawthorn as well, but Cawthorn, I'm honestly not convinced he's even going to win his primary at this point. But those folks want to impeach President Biden. You know, Matt Gaetz at least hasn't gone that far yet. But the other ones, Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's got articles of impeachment ready to go right now. Like, let's do this, she says. And the problem is, when you're doing those things, and actually, I think Mitch McConnell kind of pointed that out earlier this week, or at least his staff did. When you're focusing on those things, you're not focusing on things like inflation. You're not focusing on things like taxes. You're not focusing on things that actually matter to the American public. So the big fear with having the lunatics have these louder voices and the, quote, moderate deal makers out of the House, the big fear is that Republicans will spend 2 years leading up to a presidential election, doing nothing but grandstanding in the House of Representatives. And if the American public watches the Republican Party for 2 years make complete asses of themselves every day, which party do you think that benefits heading into the 2024 presidential election? I'll give you a hint. It's not the Republicans. And that is what is terrifying these Republicans right now. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.